All right. Welcome, everybody, to this week's collective call. We are going to be talking about the shifting market, how we can adapt, how we can survive, thrive. Just to kick it off on an interesting note, I had an interview yesterday with Grant Cardone, and he predicted that the next 2 years will be the biggest real estate opportunity of our lifetimes for those of us that take the action, are prepared, put in the work, and make the right moves. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. Very excited to have Long on the call with us. Long is one of the top brokers in the United States. He has hundreds of agents in multiple states and all around just longtime legend in the real estate space. So thanks for coming on, Long.
Hey, thanks for having me, Oliver. Obviously, we learned a lot from you and Sam, Mike and I. I was happy to be one of your Founders Club, episodes. So always fun to hang out with you guys. I'm excited to be here, bud.
Yeah, I appreciate that. And for everybody that is on the call, we want to make this a really interactive session. So a couple quick house cleaning items. Down below in the box, right in this neighborhood here, you'll see the Q&A. Anytime anyone has a question, just fire those off. Long, I'll moderate those as we're kind of going through. Also, if you guys like what we're saying, like what Long's saying, give us a hand raise, the little high five button down below. That also helps us know that we're on the right track and you like what we're talking about. So why don't we just start with Long? Give us a little bit on the current state of affairs.
Yeah, well, Oliver, the market's definitely shifted, right? Anyone who's not seeing that is obviously blind. So what we're seeing is what used to work 2 years ago doesn't work now. And you and I know good markets make bad agents, bad market make good agents. Because the market was so good 2 years ago, a lot of us got lazy. We don't do everything we're supposed to be doing that you should be doing because your cousin or your long lost friend found you on Facebook and just give you a call for a listing that, because you can sell in 2 hours for 50,000 in your market, probably like 100,000 over list price. It was too easy. Well, now the market is getting back to, you and I have been doing it for a long time, normal, I think. This is where you got to run it like a business, right? This is where you got to attend these type of events, learn, sharpen your skill. You got to be better as an agent because things like time like this is actually good for us, Guy, you and me who've been in it for a long time. It clean out our industry a little bit. It bring it back to normality. Yes, as of June, I haven't seen July number yet, Oliver. As of June, I think over 60,000 agents nationally have gotten out of industry already. And by then, I think it was like, that's one every 3 minutes and 30 seconds or something like that. And I see that number, I'm like, good. Because guess what? The number of transactions might drop by 30-some%. The one who stay in, guess what? They do the things that we should be doing is actually still crushing it.
Exactly right. And that's kind of where I wanted to start because you and I, we both went through the last cycle in 2008, 9, and 10. And it was very similar, a lot more dramatic back then, bigger swings in prices, things like that. But, equally tough in terms of a grind, equally tough in terms of the number of agents leaving the business. But like you said, that creates the opportunity for us. If you're a newer agent to break in and start establishing yourself and doing deals, a tough market is the absolute best time to do that. Same thing if you're a veteran in the business. Now is the time to, as competitors leave the industry, take back the market share, expand your territories, and ultimately do more deals for those of us that stick around and put in the work.
Yeah, it's like stock, right? You want to buy low, sell high. This is the time you buy. By grabbing market share, you may actually do the same number of transactions, right? Because the number of transactions have dropped, right? Let's be real. Numbers. You might get bigger market share, even though you might do the same, if not less transaction. However, because you have the market share, when the market come back, you're going to double, triple, quadruple your income because of the thing you do today, which is really, at the end of the day, that's how business works, right? In our industry even. The longest sales cycle is 30, 45, 60, 90 days. The stuff you do now is 3 days, 6 months from now is when you see the fruit.
Exactly. Yeah, that's exactly right. And for those of us on the call, if you went through the last cycle as well, give us a thumbs up, hit the raise hand button. Again, we want to make today's session really interactive. So if you have any questions, drop them in the question box, and we're gonna get to all those as we go. But why don't we start with kind of just in terms of fundamentals, how should we shift our business right now, and what can we be doing?
Yeah, you're right on the last time, the 08, 09, there was a big shift, right? Big, huge change, but it's also a different kind of market. Back then, people over leverage, right? As you know, my first 15 years, I was on the mortgage side, my last 18 in real estate. I went from mortgage to real estate because I saw, as you said, opportunity. Everyone sees it as a bad market. I'm like, that's opportunities. So I remember the type of loan that's being done on the mortgage side, 100% non-owner rental property. We used to joke that if you want to apply for a loan, I'll give you a mirror. If you fog it up, you're alive, we'll do a loan for you. We literally will do a loan for 100%, 500 score, stated income. It was some crazy type of program. Because of that, people over leverage. So when the market adjusted, that was in trouble. This time around, the interest rate, the equity in the home of the people we have, which lead to a different problem we have this time around. Okay, people on an average 12 to 15% equity. So they're not upside down like last time. But the problem is, if you've done what you should be doing, 2, 3, maybe even 4% interest rate, right? Well, why do you want to sell now to go to 6 or 7%? So I know you have younger kids. Mine are getting older now. I'm like the empty nester, right? I got 20, 23, and 26. So my wife and I talk about 5-bedroom, 4-bathroom, 3,500 square foot home with an unfinished basement even. So what do we do with all this? Even if we sell it and buy a smaller home, half the size, and we take out a mortgage, our payment's like the same. Why even do it, right? So we're like hanging onto our house. That's why we have the shortage in inventory. But with that being said, agent have to start learning a different way to bring value, right? Mm-hmm. Seller has to sell, buyer need to buy, right? So for seller, people still need to move, but how do they do that? Now learn all about a different program, different thing you have to do. Buyers, the same. Start going back to the 2-1 buy down, 3-1 buy down, arm product, which is a lot more safer now than it used to be before. You have to be better as an agent with more solutions that you can offer to your potential buyers and seller. Same thing. You hear going back to the basic stuff like open house, nurturing and following up in your database. All the technology you have out there that you can bring on, start looking at your business. How can you improve your process system, your bottom line, even all the way to maybe making a transition to a different brokerage, such as Big Block in your market that might, help you make more and keep more. So agents have to think of it like a business. You are the CEO of your company. I don't care if you're on a team, you're solo, you have a team. Take a look at your business and go, what do I need to adjust so that I don't just survive but thrive? And start doing the things that others won't do or can't do.
Right, exactly. So why don't we talk about kind of how we should be talking to our buyers and sellers differently in today's market?
Yeah. The old day, you just throw it on the market and it's gone, right? Sometimes you don't even take pictures. Well, now you have to come in with all this value proposition. You have to do a better job at showing them why they should use you and sell the house in the first place, right? Depends on the market too. If you're working luxury, you're working buy up, buy down, or you're doing first-time home buyer, everyone's at a different pitch. But you need to start arming yourself with more value to justify this. Be educated. Show up to this type of podcast event to learn more, because you need to know more than you used to be before. Yeah, you got to show that you know more than the end consumer when it comes to why they should buy, sell the home, right? So open house is still great to do. Following up, farming the market. Making a call. If you have a database, I don't care if it's 300, 3,000, whatever you have. I don't care what kind of technology you have. You still got to pick up the dang phone and make the call. So you might have to start structuring your day, Oliver, back to time blocking. Is it 2 hours a day? You got to reach out to your database because the phone's not ringing anymore. You got to call out, and that you start going down your ABC list. Right? All the basic stuff I'm sure you can also share here now. Your A is like your whatever you got organized in your database. All over here checking with you. How are you? That's it. You don't even have to sell anything, because here's what happened. This happened during COVID. That's another shift we have, right? 3 years ago, almost 3 years now. Everyone seemed to shut down, especially California. Minnesota, where I'm from, we can still do real estate. It was essential business, right? California, you guys had like a big pause. But for us, everyone's like, what do? We said, we're the people business. Literally just reach out and check in with your people. Okay. The funny thing is, they called and said, Oliver here checking in with you. How are you? Hey, at home, kids, it's driving me crazy, whatever it is. But also they realize the people they call might want to buy, sell their home, and or on an average, everyone knows 200 to 250 people. My cousin think about selling her house. She doesn't know if she should or not right now because of whatever's going on. Connect her with me.
Right.
I'm telling you right now, man, just got to reach out to your database and start prospecting more.
So, and I fully agree with that. One of the top industry coaches who I think you're familiar with, Bill Pipes, I had a similar conversation with him the other day, and about just making more contacts every single day. And he said, if you can do an hour of contacts a day, you will survive through this market shift. You will be, on a path of, closing deals, making money. If you can do 2 hours a day of prospecting every day, you will start to produce results that have you moving up, whether you're new, just getting started, or veteran moving up. And then he said, if you can do 3 hours a day in this market of contacts, it will literally change your life forever. Like, it will take you into a bracket of, the superstar agents.
You're absolutely right, but you know where it starts, and you and I have made this conversation about this, right? Actually, even your show, Founders Club, is all about mindset piece. This is where agents got to be honest with themselves. Stop lying to yourself. You're not doing the thing you're supposed to be doing to be successful. And once you know what you're supposed to do, you got to put in the time to do it. And it's a funnel. Any business, right? It's a funnel. If you don't prospect or get the opportunity up on the top, it doesn't come all the way down to closing, right? So guess what? Right now, because of the market shifting, people getting out of the industry, it's good for you because most of those buyers and sellers become what we call orphan buyer or orphan seller.
Yes.
Their agent's gone, back to being a mechanic, a waitress, or a doctor, or whatever else they did before, right? Well, now you got to make the call. They used to know 7 agents, Oliver. Now you might be the only 7 of their friend agent who actually reach out to talk to them.
Yeah, totally agree.
You're totally right. Everything starts with prospecting. You can literally track, reverse engineer, and you'll see if you make an hour call every day, how much your business will increase. You make 2 hours, what it will look like. You make 3 hours, what it will look like. I'm telling you right now, this is the time for you to actually buy up market share and take over your freaking market. Because if you're a real estate agent, man, you like this kind of market. Because the other one's too competitive. Everyone's calling their long lost friend who does 2 deals a year. You got no shot at that deal, Now
exactly.
you actually do.
Yeah, the part-timers are gone. The people just dipping their foot in the pool, they're gone. And now's the time for all of us to buckle down, do the work, grow the business. Let's talk a little bit more about, that prospecting piece, because, that's always a dirty word for people, and it doesn't have to be super salesy. And I remember one time you shared with me how you use your phone's contact list as almost like a database. So I think that's just like a really easy, low-hanging fruit. Why don't you share that strategy?
Yes, I bet you, I don't know how many people you have on your contact list. Like mine and you, we've been in business, so thousands, right? But if you have 300-400, heck, man, I just go down the list on my egg, call and see how you're doing. But you're right, in my phone, I saved up because I don't remember everything, right? But I'll save, I'm going to do it right now. I'll look you up and I'll tell you what note I have for you. Because, I want to make sure that I don't talk to you all the time. We're friends, but, we have business to do, right? So I'm going to look up Oliver right now. And your spouse name is Hillary. Your birthday is August 6th. Am I right?
Yep.
You live in your office, San Diego, California. I got the information. So guess what? When I give you a call, I say, hey, Oliver, just checking to see how you and Hillary are doing. That little thing go, dang, that's awesome, man, that you actually call checking on me, but you remember my spouse name. The little tiny thing that you use. This is every time I've been to a tech conference for real estate, I'm like, the biggest piece of tech is this dang thing right here that no one's using. Their phone. pick up the phone and make the call, right? So just pick up the phone, make the call, and start saving notes. Yes, you should use your CRM, no doubt about it. But a phone is also a very important place for you to also save information. That's just me personally.
Yeah. Yeah. So he always texts me on my birthday because he's got it saved. So saving that information and having a reason to call that's super easy. Then you just pick, as you start to talk, people naturally will ask you, how's the market? Then that transitioned into now you're talking about real estate. And ultimately, you don't have to come across super salesy. If you just throw in a simple question like, hey, if I come across a good deal, would you be interested in hearing about it, or are you interested in any type of investments in the current market? Because I heard this guy say that it's going to be the biggest real estate opportunity over the next 2 years. You're citing market stats, different things like that, back to knowing the market and really, establishing yourself as an expert. And all of the realtor associations, they put out all those stats for free. So you just check out their daily digest. Now you know the stats. Now you have reasons to call. You ask non-threatening questions, and you're in dialogue about real estate.
Yeah, and you touched on something really important too, Oliver, is that there's many different ways we can prospect. Yes, phone call is one of them, right? And you should do more of this, by the way. But there's a different way. You can prospect. What I mean by that is block off 3 hours to prospect. It could be only phone call. It could be 1 hour phone call, 1 hour this, 1 hour that, right? Leverage email. That's like one of the cheapest things, especially you have on your database already, right? You can blast an email about stuff until they unsubscribe from you. Use social media, another great way to do it. Yes, postcard still may work. Open house, yes, it's all good stuff. But use all the other technology that's available to you, and social media is one of them. Do more video, right? Do more Facebook Live. Here's one thing I will tell you. In the people business, people work with people they like and trust. Okay. And they can't like you and trust you unless they know you. Because of that, you and Sam is where I learned from you guys about this. Visibility is credibility. The more visible you are, right, the more credible you become. And in the old day, if you're a politician, don't wait till that's door knocking, right? You go around, you get vote. Salesperson, you go door knock to get people to buy your product or your service. By the way, door knocking still works, especially when it comes to open house. You go door knock and farm the neighborhood and say, I'm open open house, Susie's house. Guess what? The neighbor like, I want to see what Susie's house looks like. I've never been inside, And they come over and also they go, my cousin would love this house to live next to me, or my good friend, my sister. Also now they don't have an agent, or they might go, God, she's getting $550 for that. I wonder how much I get for mine. These are all the way you generate business, right? It's prospecting. But the social media thing, one thing that we use here is called, we love acronym. So Oliver, that's how we remember things, right? We always tell our agent to stay in front of people. Stay, S-T-A-Y. Stay is also an acronym, because I hate when I see agent only post about, congratulations, my buyer, I sold this property in 2 days. That's all we ever see. Well, I'm not doing real estate. I'm just going to block you out. I just ignore you, right? Because I'm not buying and selling right now. So stay is S is sell. Yes, you have to post those kind of things, right? You have to show what you do for a living. Okay. You sell yourself that you are the professional. So yes, post those kind of things. If you don't have anything you're selling or whatever, borrow an agent in your brokerage and do an open house. Like that's under sales, right? What do you do for a living? T is teach. You want to show you are the expert in your field. Okay. You want to get credibility. Teach them something about real estate. By the way, nowadays we can Google anything. If your brokers don't have great training program, go Google it. 3 things you should do before you sell your house, right? 2 things you should negotiate as a buyer. What you should do, get all that stuff, post on it. Okay. A is advice. Advice is about everything else, not just real estate. Okay. One thing you and I have been doing, we've been doing a long time. We start to be the source, right? I get people calling me, all of them. I'm sure you do the same. Hey, I'm thinking about switching my insurance agent. Who do you know?
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, man, I need to buy a car. A good car guy. You need a good plumber, good whatever, right? So your advice show you that you are well-rounded, you are connected. So advice can be anything. And by the way, all the content's all around you. You don't have to come up with it. It can be like, my 5-year-old kid asked me about this question today. And this is what I told him. That's an advice, right? You're sharing what you do, that you are kind of like a well-rounded, good person. Why is you? About you. Because people want to learn more about you. They want to like you, trust you, but also be authentic. You post stuff like, I'm out with my wife having dinner here, whatever. That's a you thing, right? whatever that might be. So STAY, you schedule out a social media calendar. If you're posting frequently enough, maybe every other day, it's one of those things. Maybe it's ST 1 week, AY the next week. You rotate and start using things like my 1 hour on Monday for prospecting. That's my social media. You can create all of these stuff and put it in whatever app on whatever day it goes out by itself, right? Because we might be busy on that Tuesday with a showing. We then don't do that social media post we should be doing. Now it's not consistent, right? So there's different way you can prospect. You don't have to always make phone call, by the way, but phone call is the quickest way to get deals.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially prospecting people that will do multiple deals. Like right now, I know investors like the house flippers, those guys are still there and they're looking for product. And so if you're, to your point, out doing the door knocking, out doing the business generation, and you can find deals for these guys, those are usually multiple commission type transactions. They'll usually come back to you with other deals. But one thing I've heard come up a couple times already has been open houses. And I think that it's interesting that those are really making a comeback. We're even seeing that a lot of times agents hosting the open house are actually selling that house at the open house.
Yeah.
Which is the first time that's happened in, quite a few years.
Yeah. So you're right, Oliver. Open house is the old school way and it still works. However, the way you do it might have changed from 10 years ago, right? So now that you got the right app, people will sign on with your laptop or the link for them to sign on because you'll say, hey, we'll get this free information, status update about this house or another house nearby, right? You want to have something to give, but to give it to them, you need the information, right? So now that catches it, go to your CRM, which is dropping with the drip campaign. These are all different ways to do it, how to market it to drive more people. So the way you do open house might change a little bit, but open house itself is a source of getting business. So I should definitely go back, especially at a brokerage that people share open house, because a lot of listing agents like, I don't have time to do an open house, and you might be able to do it for them, so I would look for open house opportunities.
Yeah, for the newer folks, that's for sure a great way to do it. Is talk to the agents that have the listings that they're too busy to do open houses, offer to do open houses for them, which is a win-win for both sides. And that's a great way to just start generating business. Like Long said, also, when you do an open house, go knock the neighborhood. Say, hey, I'm going to be here Sunday at noon. I'll have whatever, some donuts, some coffee, and then you go into just dialogue about neighborhood, things like that.
Yeah, because open house is like a lead magnet. It allows you to do these other activities that Oliver just shared with you. Because people don't want to cold call, door knocking somebody at the house, right? But if you can invite them to a party, essentially that's all you're having, right? You're using someone else's house to have a party. Hey, come on over and we'll share. Like I said, people are nosy. They may not have seen what Susie house looked like. They've never been inside. They want to do that. They might also go, it's my neighborhood. I wonder why that house is going for $550. I wonder what I get it for. By having all these, you're building relationship and you're getting opportunities. So there's so many different ways to prospect. It's not just a phone call only, but the important thing is you got to block off time to prospect. If you don't prospect, you will have no business.
Totally agree. Got a question here. Tequila Young said, what was the A and Y in the STAY acronym?
Yes. So sell, whatever you do, right? Teach, advice, you.
Sell, teach, advice, you. I love that as a simple framework. The sell is the posting of anything industry related, let's call it. Your open houses, your new listings, your closings, things like that. The A was one more time, or ST?
Teach.
Teach. So that's industry expertise. Maybe it's content around the 5 best parks in San Diego or different things like that. Market stats, market updates.
So you want to be the expert, right?
Yeah, talking about the best restaurant in X neighborhood, in X city. What's everyone's favorite taco shop in X city? Different things like that. And then the A.
Advice. and then why is you, right? So even that can fall into advice that you just share, right? One thing about advice I really like, especially people who are more comfortable doing videos, because you want to establish yourself as the hyper localist as well, right? If they think of San Diego, you should be that guy, right? So you could go to your favorite coffee shop, restaurant, interview the owner real quick. Hey, I'm here with Susan. So when do you start this? Why is the best place to come to eat, Mexican food? Now you post it, you again, content all around you. Now you look like, oh, if I want to be in that area, that's who I want to work with, right? So there's different way you can do this, but the point is you have to create and consistently do it with a plan. And then why is you? Agree. Anything about you? People want to learn more about you. You like to hunt, you like to ride bike, you like to surf. I know you like to surf, right? So what happened? People want to know about you because then they attracted to you. They're like, oh, that's my kind of guy, So these are all the things, if you do consistently, you will see your business will double or triple.
Yeah, most definitely. So anyone has questions, again, keep them coming in the box down below. Give us a raise hand, let Long know you're liking this, and we're going to keep going here. But the more interactive, the more questions, the better. Also, if you guys are winning prospecting right now or making contacts, tell us what you're doing, how you're doing it. Anything like that would be awesome. One thing I keep hearing, Long, as we've been talking, another thing is consistency and time blocking. So why don't we talk a little bit about consistency and time blocking and maybe how we can be setting up our days or weeks for success?
So some of us have more time than money, right? Those are probably new agent that's still not that busy yet. So in that phase, people try to be more efficient with their time. Like, what can I do with my time? What should I be doing? All these activity, right? So be efficient. Okay, I need to do 2 hours of this, 1 hour of this, all this other stuff. So you need to sit down and look and go. And again, you got to be honest with yourself. Because in our business, Oliver, we don't show up and punch in the clock and we go home, right? And we don't show up and go, my job all day is to build this thing or to do this or do that. It's an entrepreneur, but yet you need to run it like a corporation. It's one of those really hard industry that why you see the successful people are those kind of people, right? So you got to look at yourself and go, okay, I want to work 6 hours a day. I want to work 8 hours a day. Whatever that is, be honest with yourself. Okay, now you got a framework. So this is now how I'm going to use those 6 hours, 8 hours a day. Okay, and you start time blocking those activities. And you always, no matter what, prospect. I believe you should prospect at least 25% of your time. If you want to work 6 hours a day, prospect 90 minutes. You want to work 8 hours a day, prospect 2 hours. Okay, so prospecting will then create opportunity for you to do showing, to do listing appointment, to do all these other things that you need to do, right? But remember, prospecting not always calling, could be networking with a loan officer, could be, doing social media with your STAY acronym, stay in front of people. These are all prospecting work. So you have to build out your daily schedule. You talk about consistency and then do it consistently. Okay. Here's the cool thing about real estate. You can be somewhat flexible. What I mean by that, if you're going to block off 2 hours to do prospecting and you do it 10 to noon, okay? Because you drop your kids off at 9, it's okay too. You can build around your life, right? But make sure you commit to your business. But then all of a sudden someone needs to go see a home at 10:30. No problem, go do it. But then now move your prospecting time to later. The point is you still got to do the most important thing, which is prospecting. You should never go a day without prospecting for a certain amount of time. I'll guarantee you, if you just do that alone and you suck at real estate, you will still double, triple your business. Okay. So then for those who are busier and starting to get busy, we start teaching you, or we talk about shifting it to being effective with your time. Effective with your time. What's the best use of your time? If you only got 6 hours a day to do this, what should you do? Because when you say yes to something, you say no to something else, right? So again, effective, no matter what you prospect. After that, you either delegate or you hire people to do certain things that you should no longer be doing, because the best use of your time is doing prospecting and negotiating or whatever it might be, right? This is when you hire a transaction coordinator to do, the paperwork for you, showing agent to show home for you, people to prospect the list and call, make appointment for you, because now you start to make some money, so you can start buy back some time and be more effective. So that's kind of the progression. But I think for most of us, just truly time block your day and honestly tell you got to do these certain things.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, when we coached with Mike Ferry, he used to always say, you got to treat it like a business. And he would give the example like if you worked for IBM or some big corporation, you would have a start time, you would have an end time, you would have a lunch time, and you would be, during those hours, you would know exactly what you're
Yep,
doing, what needs to get done. And if you treat your real estate business the same way and you're consistent with it, that's where the breakthroughs happen.
I totally agree. It sounds so easy and common sense, Oliver, but I bet you 90% of the people on this now are not doing that right now.
Yeah. Who on here can honestly say that you have a schedule that you stick by every single day? Let us know in the comments if there's anybody that's doing that every day, and or if anyone has any tips for time management, time blocking, anything like that. Let's share those as well.
Yeah, yeah, and be honest, right? um, Here's another thing I will talk about because time management is the game changer. Because I don't care if you're a billionaire, you're homeless. We all have the same amount of time, but successful people figure out how to leverage their time, right? So
Yeah.
whereas most of us just spending time, we're not using time. So for me, it's not on my calendar, it's not happening. Okay, because my calendar is how I manage my time. So I color code my calendar, and that's my
Okay.
priority, right? Like red is my big priority, and it's usually applied to my personal life. Like you can have lunch with Hillary, go on there as red. That means people who help me in my calendar is not messing around with that time because
Do
I'm
not
not
touch.
missing. You know it, right? Or
Right.
prospecting. That's my time to prospect. You block up in red, so you color code however you feel is important, but you need to prioritize. And here's the thing, if you truly should be running a business, you look at your calendar and there's so many white space, meaning nothing there, that means you're not being efficient or effective. You got to fill those time with something. But you start with the most important thing for your business and your personal life, and you work back from there.
Do you have any thoughts on prospecting in the morning versus prospecting later in the day or making the contacts?
Yeah, I think that it's different for everybody. I think, like,
Yeah.
I don't know about you, but a lot of people do this 5 a.m. club. I'm not a morning person. I would fail at that one. I would miss so many meetings. But I also know I'm more efficient and effective at nighttime for me. So I'm a late
Same.
riser, but I'm very so then I put the best use of my time like middle of the day for me because I know I'm the highest energy. I'm the most excited right now. Your time you schedule for me is my best time. You probably see me at my best right now, man. And I know this is the
Like it.
time, right? So
I
this is the
like it.
time I would block to make those calls because even on the phone, they can feel you. They can feel your energy. They can see you smile. They can know you are, authentic with them. So I think at the end of the day, it doesn't matter morning, night, or day. You should do it, but try to do it in the time that's all not just best for you, but also convenient for the people you're trying to call, right?
Mhm.
But also you have to reverse engineer and track everything. That's something that we should talk about too. KPIs, right?
Okay, let's talk about that 1 second. I got a quick question on this
Cool.
from Stephanie Prado. I believe making a list of things you want to achieve before the week starts is a great way to go through with it. Totally agree. And I think that fits in perfect with your concept of time blocking and how we're setting up our calendars.
Yeah. What's definitely talking about too is habits. Successful people are boring, right? They consistently have the same habit that you keep using the word consistent. Like for me, I start my day the night before. So the night before, I call it reflection time. Okay. The night before, tonight, I'm gonna look at my calendar because it's not on, it didn't happen, right? And I'm gonna look and go, what could I have done better today? Because my goal is to be my better version of myself every day. Because I'm not gonna try to be better than Oliver or Sam because I'll be disappointed. Someone's always gonna be better than me at something, right? So I look and go, did I grow today? So I look at my calendar for the day and I'm like, what could I have done better? Hey, I was on with Oliver and this one topic came up and I totally just switched and I could have spent more time on it. That's how I judge myself and I learn, right? So then, by the way, I hate to read, but every day I have to be honest with myself. Did I learn something new today? If I didn't, I have 3 books by my bed. I'll read 15 minutes every night that I didn't learn something.
Oh, I like that.
Because of
That's a
that,
good one.
for how much I hate to read, I read 20 plus books a year. It's because
That's
I
awesome.
truly want to grow every day, right? So, but then that's when I look at my next day and go, what's going on tomorrow? Okay, I see, we're doing this tomorrow. I go, okay, it's a Zoom meeting. And I look at my day. I don't have any in-person meeting today. It's all Zoom. So if I stand up right now, you probably see me in short, right? But if I know it's an in-person meeting, I'll go, okay, how long before I have to get there? Because I have to commute. You know, what's the weather gonna be like? I start planning what I wear, because when I wake up in the morning, I am ready to go. I'm already set for the day. So what she said is really important, to set that up ahead of time.
Yeah, I love that. And then we were going to circle back on something you just mentioned.
KPI and
KPIs, yes. So how are we tracking our performance, or how
Yep.
should we be?
So if you, as a business owner, remember we are a business owner. As a business owner, if you're not tracking and know your number for your business, you're gonna fail. Okay. And what does KPI stand for those who don't know?
Key performance indicators.
Correct. Key performance indicator. So we all have different one based on our business, right? But the point is, if you need to have an end goal in mind, so you can reverse engineer back to create those KPI, which leads to what we call the leading and lagging indicator. The leading indicator, if you do these things, the lagging indicator, this will happen. So you can only do that by reverse engineer. So here's an example I will use. Okay, for most of us still practicing. Let's say your goal is, I know in your market you need to make more than 100,000 to actually live there, but I'm just going to call it normal, right? 100,000. So if your goal is to make $100,000 this year, we start looking at KPI. So let's say in your market, the commission, average commission you're going to keep, if you have a split with your broker, whatever it is, right? Your net commission you're going to keep is 10,000. I'm using easy math, okay? You make 100,000, you make 10,000 on average, you need to close how many transactions?
10 deals.
10 transactions. Now, your KPI is to close 10 transactions, 25% of your deal will fall through because the dad did a final walkthrough, didn't like how the door was hung on the left or right. Lender deny you, you lost your job, whatever happened, right? 25% of the people who would say they'll do with you, they'll fall through. So that means you need 12 and a half contract. Let's round up to 13. You need 13 signed contract, buy side, listing, whatever that is, right? Now, reverse engineer back the next step. For most of us, if we do a meeting with somebody who's looking to use us for buy side or sell side, what's your conversion ratio? I always use the 50%. You do better, that's even better, okay? So 75% of your signed contract will close. 50% of the people you meet will use you. Of course, you're good at it, they'll use you more, right? 50%. What does that mean, Oliver? You need 26 appointments, right? Now, to get 26 appointments, how many people you need to talk to get the appointment?
Right.
And I'm using round numbers, so 75, 50, and now I use 25. 25 of the people I talk to will turn into appointment. I mean, 4 people I talk to say, so long, I'll meet you. I'm meeting 2 other agents, but I'll meet you. Okay. Now, you need to, how many calls you need to make, right? 26 times 4, what, 100 and whatever that number is, right? Now, to make that many calls, how many times, 10% of the people you engage with will turn into a call. Engages, send them a text, okay? Shoot them an email, did social media, whatever you blast out, 10% of them will say, hey, Long, me or my cousin or my friend looking to buy, sell a house, we want to talk to you, okay?
Right.
So now you reverse engineer back that number is, so let's call it 1,300 engagement. That sounds like a lot, but Oliver, it's a year.
In a year, yeah.
One freaking year, man.
And then, go even further, right? Break it down to how many days do you want to work next year? And then divide that number. That's how many contacts per day that you need to make. You
said it. So when I do this exercise, I actually do this next thing. I said, okay, how many weeks of vacation you want to take? Because we all think we're so flexible, we don't work much, right? So they always say 4 weeks. I said, I'll double it. Take 8 weeks off vacation. So now how many weeks you got left? 52 divided 8, right? 44. You're going to work 44 weeks, okay? Of those 44, how many days a week do you want to work? Oh, I work 7 days a week. Ah, bullshit, you don't, okay? Let's call it what it is. Call it 5 even. Now 5. So you're right. Then I just keep reverse engineer back to those steps. Now every day, I think some number turned out to be 10 or 15 engagement a day. Literally, how do you engage with people? This is, by the way, one way, right? Engage is sending stuff out to get people, to touch them, and then they're going to respond back to you. If you focus on those KPI, the funny thing is, these are the numbers at the end will work out. And that's your consistency you're talking about.
I love that. I mean, that's a really powerful exercise, and it's going to be different for everyone, right? Like when you're new in the business, it's going to take you more contacts and more meetings to get the same result. Whereas once you become the expert, do more deals, have more experience, that starts to shrink and shrink over time. But as long as you're tracking your numbers and you know that, and then maybe you're like, I don't want to take 2 months off. I want to take 2 weeks off. And then, you take that, or I want to work, at 10 hours a day, 4 days a week, however you want to position it. But what a perfect exercise to kind of give you a daily plan for every single day of the year.
Here's another beautiful thing about that too is, as we know, we're the people business, but we also know the business part is system run business, people run system, right? So you have the system process in place. This is part of the system and process. By breaking it down to these steps, if you go to training at your brokerage or you pay to get a coach, you improve in that one area by 5%, it's like you double your business. If you can find a way to improve your call rate and touch people better by 5%, and you improve the conversion ratio to a meeting by 5%, and you include the people who signed with you by 5%, and then you go from closing rate from 75 to 80%, and then you get better negotiating your commission, you get another 5% of money. Before you know it, you just double your freaking income.
Yep. Yeah. I love it. I think that's hugely beneficial. I think it's a very powerful exercise. I hope that everyone on this call right now will do that. Let us know if you're going to do that in the comments. Also, if you have any other questions before we wrap up, put those in the comments now so we can get to all those before we wrap. But any final thoughts, Long, any parting ideas? Because I think that the premise of the conversation today, if I was to summarize it, would be that it's a serious time, but it's also a serious opportunity. It's gonna take work. It's not going to be a free ride. We got to treat it like a business, and we got to know and track our numbers and execute that every day consistently, and we are going to win.
Yeah, I'll add to that because of this format, and you and I and people like us, right? Also have that abundance versus scarcity mentality. Yes, the market's shifting, but actually there's actually more business for you because people getting out of business. But in the same mindset, let's start sharing with other agents or learning from them what's working, right? Because together we can be all better, right? So that's another thing I want you to think about. But with that being said, also have the right mindset that if you break down to this KPI, you have to celebrate the no's. What I mean by that, if you make 12 calls before you talk to one, every time you call, no one pick up the phone, you're like, yes, I'm one closer to, you know what I'm saying? So let's start celebrating that and shift our mindset to a growth mindset versus a fixed mindset. A fixed mindset is result oriented. I make the call, no one pick up the phone. You fail. Right. That's a fixed mindset. The growth mindset is they didn't pick up. I'm freaking one closer than someone answering the phone because I know every 12 call on an average, someone pick up the phone, right? So these are all the things that we need to shift in our mind to do better.
Yeah, totally agree. Also, I thought of something as well. I actually have a daily tracker. So if anybody wants that, my social media handle is right here at Oliver Graf 360. If you just shoot me a DM on Instagram or any of the platforms, I will send you my tracker. I think that could be beneficial for everyone that goes through that exercise that we just kind of ran through. In addition to that, we've talked about collaboration and staying in touch with, like-minded individuals. So everybody make sure you join the Facebook group. That's the Collective Coaching Facebook group. Also, we do these calls every Tuesday at 10 a.m. Pacific time. So make sure you block it on your calendar and attend with us. We want to make these better and better. So if you guys have any ideas, let us know. Any topics you want to talk about, any guests you want to have on, and we're definitely going to bring that to you guys.
Can I end with another acronym? Be an acronym, right? So
absolutely. Wait 1 second. Angel just asked, can you repeat the thing to get the tracker? Just find me on social media. Instagram is probably easiest. It's at Oliver Graf 360, and it's right here on the screen in the bottom left corner.
So life.
Another acronym to end it. I love it.
Life. L-I-F-E. What's life all about, right? Here at our brokerage, life stands for L is learn. Look what you guys doing right now. You're learning from us. We're all sharing with you, right? Learn. But 92% of people fail because they never implement. So whatever you're learning today, go freaking do one of the 12 things you learned today. You got to implement something, okay? That's the only way you're going to grow. But remember, when you implement something, you will fail the first 4, 5, 6 times you try, which is F. Okay. But only when you fail will you evolve, which is E. So I encourage you guys, life is about learn, implement, fail, evolve. If you ask Oliver, myself, any successful people, one thing we wish to do more, I would usually tell you, I wish I failed more and I failed faster, because that's how I grew.
Yeah. Yeah, it's so true. It's the same way when, you know, you want to learn a new thing like golf or surfing or anything. You're not going to go out and paddle out to the biggest wave or go to the best golf course because you're going to be terrible. So you gotta learn, you gotta take the baby steps, you gotta take the action every day, you gotta fail and you gotta evolve. So I love that. Beautiful. And appreciate it, Long. I think that's going to be just about time for us to wrap. Again, really appreciate your time, man. Give us some hand raises, give us some thumbs up, let us know you enjoyed it. And Long, again, man, I'll look forward to catching you at one of these events soon. And we gotta go out to dinner and have a good time.
You got it, bud. Thank you for having me. It's always fun to hang out with you.
Thanks, Long. See you. See you guys. We'll talk to you next week. Getting a bunch of high fives. Very cool. All right. See ya.